Thanks be to God for this wonderful time for our organization, United Women in Faith. Women across the country and even around the world are saying yes to being part of working on behalf of women, children, and youth as an expression of their faith. Friends, it's a great time to be part of this organization, and you and I get to be part of it. Can you see where we're headed? Do you have an image in your mind of where we might be 5 or 10 years from now? Just think about a growing organization that is connected online and locally, a diverse organization that includes people from every kind of geographic location, rural, urban, suburban, everything in between. LGBT women, straight women, racially diverse women, women in all kinds of work can be part of this organization. And we can be, as we have been, clearly a community of fierce, compassionate, engaged women making a difference in the world. In fact, I can imagine an organization so compelling that people are asking if they can join. That's where we're headed. I want to suggest that there are 3 things that are important about how we get there. First, we need to start talking about the impact that we make. Of course, it's important to communicate to members about the activities so that they can be part of them. But the impact is really the point. What's the result of the programming? How do children and adults at our national mission institutions experience us? What difference do we make in legislation and in other advocacy work? We can lift up the impact because we know that people want to have an impact, and this will draw new members to this organization. The second thing is we need to think about our sisterhood. We have deep personal relationships now, and we need to be intentional about reaching out and offering those kinds of relationships to new women as well. And that means stopping and listening to where those women are, to exploring where their passion is and their gifts and their commitment to love God through their lives. We have an opportunity, you and I, to make a personal connection. And that's the third thing I want to say. You and I have the opportunity to live the brand. Now, the brand is just an image or a collection of how people feel when they engage United Women in Faith. In fact, as we were working with the consultant, they helped us through a process of identifying what are the components of the brand. So let me share those with you. Our brand, our identity as United Women in Faith is inclusive. It goes back to the diversity that I talked about before. Our brand is life-changing. This is one of the expressions of impact. My life has been changed through study, through engagement with you, through the advocacy work. I think yours probably has too. And we can share that part of our work with new women. Our brand is bold. Since the assembly, where the power of bold was our theme, we hear the resonance of that word across the organization, and we know that it characterizes how we have always acted and how we act in the future, addressing issues that may not be addressed in other places in our connection. The brand, the identity of United Women in Faith is fresh. We're thinking about our work in a more strategic way, in a new way. In fact, just like sometimes when we approach the biblical text, either in our studies or in worship, we get a whole new understanding of very familiar words. the brand is fresh in that kind of way, and our ability to live it out should also be fresh. And finally, the brand is of course spiritual. We are spiritual women. We are women of faith. We're united women in faith. Sometimes the spiritual part of the work is a little personal for us to share, but I believe that I and you can get to the place where we have some things that we can share about that. We can be a little bit more overt about the power of our experiences and our work together that has shaped us as women of faith. Friends, the work about the organization is important because it's part of all of the things we bring together that help us respond to God's call, that help us see God in the world, and that help us respond in faith, in advocacy, in service, and in giving. It's a wonderful time for our organization, and you and I can live out our identity as united women in faith.